Well, good morning, everyone. I'm here to say I got a problem. I have a real problem, and I think most of us have that same problem. Yarn. Oh my gosh. I spent all that time getting this stuff straightened out in here, getting all the yarn put away, getting all the boxes out of here, and the boxes are starting to build up again. I did, I think I told you I did a Hirschner's order, and that showed up. So I have the Premier Basics Chenille Brights. It was basically what I ordered on there. And I just did onesies of colors just to make sure it's the right colors. Then I did a Joann's order. And for the Joann's order, I did mostly Juicy Couture velvet yarn for the scrunchies. Part of that has shown up. 3 shipments, plus there's still a couple more, I believe, coming in another shipment. And then Michael's. Oh my gosh, Michael's had a sale. And they had the Home Slim and Sweet Snuggles Light on sale. You could get it for $5.99 a skein. And that is an awesome price for that stuff. Plus I had a $5 coupon. Plus I got free shipping. So today a box of 11 skeins of that is going to show up. And I have nowhere to put this stuff. And I mention this because a little bit later on, I'm going to explain an issue that I have. It's crazy. It is just crazy. It's like making me crazy, just making me crazy. Anyhow, this week, I was kind of issued a challenge by Mary, and Nancy sent me the link to this really cool pattern. So let's just dive into it. Let's dive in. And I made a list today so that I'll get the names right, because last week I said the wrong maker for Myrtle the Turtle. I corrected it in the description, but verbally I said the wrong maker. Because you know what? There's so many designers I like. I get them mixed up. I just get them mixed up, and I can't help myself. So, let's start. One of the first things that I did this week is I made the second of the third of the market bags that I needed to make for John's sister. And this one is the Coral and Tan. The last one left is the Cranberry and Navy. And I bought 3 colors. Most of you guys said the burgundy color would probably be the closest, but I wanted to show them to her first before I made it because I didn't want to have to remake it. And she picked the burgundy, so I have that one yet to make. And then I'll be done with that order. I just don't like stuff like that hanging over my head. So, yeah, there's always that. So that was the first thing that I did. And then I had one more color of Bernat to make Bernat velvet to make the scrunchies out of, and it was red. So I got 3 of those made, and I still got to put the little tags on them. Well, then my Juicy Couture order started to come in. I was expecting something else from Amazon, which still hasn't made it here yet. And I hope they don't mess me up on this, because I have an idea of how to display my lubbies. And I want this particular item. And when I looked yesterday, there's only 5 available. But I should have had it delivered over the weekend, and it wasn't. It says there's a delay. I'm hoping I get it, because I really think it's going to work. But anyway, so I get 2 skeins of the Juicy Couture. And I did not save the label. I thought I did, but it's not where I thought I put it. So I got this pink. It I will say it's not my favorite shade of pink, but to show you the difference. Now, I got these on sale for $5.99 a skein. You get 107 yards. So I did a test to see how many scrunchies I'm going to get out of that skein, and you get 4. But I think it comes out a lot fluffier than the Bernat. And I noticed it was, now it could be just because of the color, because this is a light color, but it was easier to find my stitches with this than it was with this. And that's probably just a color thing. So I got, let me show you the other colors that I got. So this one is Plonk. Plonk. This one is Electric Violet. This one's pretty. This one is Carbon Gray, which I believe I had a gray already in Bernat. Tint of Mint. So what was happening is they had such a great price on these, all the colors were sold out. So I just got one of each color that I could get a hold of. Plum, right? Yep, just plum. That's a pretty purple. Here is another pink, and I think I like this pink better than the other one. This one is called Hot Hot Pink. And Biscay Bay. Oops, one more. And this one is a very pretty green. It is Watercress. So I have those, and I believe I'm still expecting a couple of more. But each one of these will get me 4 scrunchies, and I'll have about 2 feet, 24 inches or so of yarn left from the skein. So I'll move through these really quick. These I don't have to worry about finding a home for. And then, of course, the 4 scrunchies. So we did the market bag, and we did 4 scrunchies, and it's like, oh, you know what? It's really time to play. So, as I mentioned, Nancy, well, let's wait. Let's do paid patterns first, and then we'll get into all the different free patterns that I did. So, everybody has seen my loaf dogs. I made another loaf dog. And the loaf dog is a pattern by Passionate Crafter on Etsy. This one turned out really big. Now I'd have to hold it next to the others to see if it's like bigger, because I've been using different yarns doing it. This one is Big Twist Plush, and the Walmart brand, the Mainstay White, which seems to be thicker than the Bernat White that I have. So I have to be like really careful how much blanket yarn I use, or my hands will be done. My hands will be done in. But yeah, so we have one loaf dog, and this one I followed the color pattern in the pattern itself, other than I didn't use black and white. And I did add the 1 extra row to the ears to give them a little more showing. But I think he turned out pretty cute. So we have one loaf dog. Then Mary sent me an email asking if I would do a Bigfoot, because she doesn't see anybody doing Bigfoot, and she thinks Bigfoot would be a good seller. So I told her I'll see what I can do. So I went on the hunt for a pattern, and most of them pretty much looked the same. They were all just kind of like a tube with a face mask and, you know, nothing spectacular. And I keep telling myself, that doesn't look like Bigfoot. And then I ask myself, how do you know what Bigfoot looks like? You've never seen Bigfoot. But I keep thinking, like, you know, that show Harry and the Hendersons. Anywho, I did settle on a pattern. And the pattern is by Lucy Ravenscar on Etsy. And in the pattern, you get, it's written for acrylic, but I did it using Parfait Chunky. You get for a large Bigfoot, a small Bigfoot, and depending on the colors, it could also be a Yeti. And then there's another pattern that goes with it that she just calls for a cute monster. So I picked, because that was written for acrylic, and you know it's going to come out so much bigger when you use these Plushie yarns, I picked to do the small Bigfoot. And he's still pretty big. So, this is my Bigfoot. Mary, I hope you like this. He's, nice with his little smile. Now, the one thing I will say, he stands on his own, but the only thing I had an issue with was his feet or legs were kind of like wider than the bottom of his body. So they're on kind of a little wonky, but he stands perfectly fine. I mean, he just stands all on his own. You can't see it, but he's standing right here in front of me. Basically, it's like this big peanut shape, and you make the little mask separate, and you use fur around it. Well, I didn't have fur, so I doubled up my little bunny and put that around. So he's done with teddy bear and toffee. But I think he turned out pretty cute. He's definitely got Bigfoot arms. Now the 6 fingers and 6 toes, I'm not quite sure about, but that's what the pattern called for, so that's what we went with. But he's kind of cute. So we have a Bigfoot. Well, then that made me think. I had Madeline Mako's little Yeti pattern. If that one could be a Bigfoot or a Yeti, why couldn't Madeline Mako's Yeti also be a Bigfoot? So that's what I did. I pulled out that pattern, and I did try to give it a couple of toes with the bobble stitches, which meant I added an extra round into the foot. I did a couple of increases to, let's see, try to make it look like it has a little poochy belly. It does show up in person where you can hold it at the right angle. And then on the face of it, when I changed colors, I did the one round of the teddy bear, and then the next round I went into the back loop only so that I'd have a spot to stitch on the little bunny for the fur around the face. So we have a tiny little Bigfoot. They could be cousins. So those... Oh, well, one more thing that's a paid pattern. I was going to say those are my only paid patterns. So I showed you this little turtle, Myrtle the turtle, last time, and I was going to use it for a keychain. And then I said, well, let me test it out in acrylic to see just how much smaller it comes out. So I did one in acrylic, and it does come out a little bit smaller, but this was not fun to make. It was not easy to hold on to these little teeny tiny parts, and yeah. So I think I'll use, for keychains for a turtle, the Dollar Tree chenille, Premier Just Chenille, and for that, because this was not fun. It was very hard to do. So those are my paid patterns. And that turtle, like I said, is Chastity and Designs, not whoever I said last week. Anyhow, so I have quite a few free patterns here. And they all came off of Instagram. This first one is really cool. Nancy sent me the link to it, and I used Parfait Chunky with this one, mainly because it said the largest round was going to be 40, and I thought, oh boy, that will be huge if I use the blanket yarn. So, because it came out a fairly decent size in the Parfait Chunky. But it is a loaf fox. Now there's a little bit more to this one than the loaf dog, because the loaf dog you're only sewing on the tail. This one you're going to sew on the snout, the ears, and the tail. But the color changes, like that is worked into the pattern. These are crochet, all these color changes are crocheted in. And I think the ears might be a little big. Maybe. But instead of using white, I used cream, and the cream definitely seemed to be a lot thicker than the orange was. So that might be why the ears look so big. But I think it is just cute. Now you're supposed to do a little bit more eye detail, which I did not do. I got lazy. But thank you, Nancy. This is really a cute pattern. So I have a loaf fox to go with my loaf dogs and my loaf cats that are in a box. So that was one. The next free pattern I did is a chicken nugget. There's nothing real special about chicken nuggets. Now this one is smaller than the other one that I have. The other one was a paid pattern from Shield Maiden, but this one's a little smaller. It's a lot quicker, and it was easier to read the pattern, believe it or not. So it is a free pattern on Instagram by Tinkering Crochet. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So what I did is I dug through my partial skein scrap bin, and I had a piece of a mustard in there. So I got 2.5 done. Well, I had to finish the half, so I broke out another skein, and I just kept going until I finished that skein, and I have a half of one left. Well, I worked it up, and it's got a stitch marker in it holding my spot, so the next time that I bust into a mustard for a pattern, I'll be able to finish that up. So these were smaller, they were faster, and it will go in my little food section because I like crocheting food. I think they're cute. They're not necessarily the best sellers, but I haven't really had a whole lot of them. So I can't say they're not good sellers. Now, chicken nuggets have been hit and miss. Some markets I have done well with them, and some people look at them, but that's all. But my most recent markets haven't been the best markets. So we'll give it that. The next one is also a free pattern off of Instagram. And it is by Little Crochet Things. And they're bananas with little leggy arms and legs. So I had a scrap yellow, and I started using it up, and I got almost finished with the second one, and I did have to break into another yellow. But I stopped there. I didn't just keep going and use all my yellow just to make bananas. But this one was a fairly quick pattern. It was easy to read. I did not feel like using embroidered dies, so I was cheating just to be on the fast side and went ahead and used the safety eyes. So 2 bananas, which will go in my food section. Then, still looking through Instagram. I have a bunch of really cool patterns saved on Instagram that I want to get to. It's just some of them, they tell you how to make the parts, but they don't tell you how it goes together. So you have to assume a lot. And I don't know. I have to be in the mood to do all the assuming. Okay, so this next one is by Naughty, like Knot, K-N-O-T, Naughty Baubles, and it's a little alien. And we all know who this looks like. It was really quick. It was easy. They're small in Parfait Chunky. If I had the right colors in the blanket yarn, I would give it a go in blanket yarn. And they'd come out a lot bigger. And of course, you'd be able to ask a better price. But I didn't. I used Parfait Chunky and got 2 little aliens. So this one, I think I was a little bit off on his ears. I think I did better. I think I did a better job on the ear placement on this one than this one. But you know what? They're fine. It's fine. So 2 little aliens. And here I am doing twosies when I'm thinking the odds look better. But I'm trying to use up my scraps. And that's what I had. So the next few, which is actually the last few, I did using the Premier Basics Chenille Brights that I just ordered in. And there's a whole series of these. There's 12, 15, something like that. And I did manage to do 4. But I don't have the right darn colors. So that means I have to order more yarn. And this one you have to use blanket yarn because there's only 10 rounds in it. And 10 rounds would be very, very small in Parfait Chunky. So you have to use some type of blanket yarn. And I need a fuchsia I don't have. I need a dark teal, a light teal, a dark purple. And those are just colors that I remember off the top of my head. And I don't have them. And I'm sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, I have to order more yarn. More. Oh, if I want to do these, I have to order more yarn. I'm just like, why? Why? All this yarn I have, and I don't have the right colors. Why? Anyhow, so these are called Chunkymon. Now, I don't know if they're anything official, but they are based off of official Pokemon. I've never heard of a Chunkymon, but there's a lot of this stuff I've never heard of, so I can't speak to that. But anyhow, this one is Blue Mandrake. And if it was a Pokemon, it would be Oddish. Now, obviously, it is not as detailed or shaped exactly like a Pokemon. It is just like a ball, and it's got the leaves, and it's a mandrake. So, Blue Mandrake, and it's by Naughty Knot. And I had this blue that I had ordered a long time ago and had never used, but this green is one of the colors that came in that I didn't have. Most of that yarn order is in different shades of browns, you know, like earth tony colors, because I was thinking the lovies when I ordered it. I wasn't thinking of Chunkymon. So, Blue Mandrake. The next one is also from colors that I had. And they were scrap colors, and because these are so small, it was enough to do it. This one is Bloom Skipper. And in Pokemon, it's skip loom. And this is the same designer, Knotty Knot. They're cute. And they were really quick because, I mean, it's a ball with bobbles and then go back and surface crochet the flower on it. Really quick. So we have that one. And that was using scraps. Actually, all of these are using colors that I already had, except for that dark green on the other one. So the next one is called Swirly Tadpole. And if it was a Pokemon, it would be Poliwag. So it's the ball with the bobbles. And then you sew on this part and embroider the little swirl. And it has a tail. Some of the ones that I really want to do, I can't because I don't have the colors. Not even in the other, well, I would in Parfait, but Parfait would just come out way too small. It would be too small. And then we have the last one is the Electric Mouse. Everybody knows who this is supposed to be as a Pokemon. It would be Pikachu. So, very cool. This one, you surface crochet the tail. You have to sew the ears on. But still, it was really quick. And there's a whole bunch more that I want to make. She has quite a few. Yeah, she has quite a few. And again, her name, or her Instagram name is Knotty, Knotty, not Knot. So, I didn't tell you who made the fox. This fox is Crochet by Allah. Crochet by ALAA.1. That's probably why I didn't say. And did I say who did this? Naughty Baubles. I think I said everybody else. The market bag is from a video tutorial on YouTube. Oh my gosh, I can't think of her name. I'll link it in the description. I had several people ask about the scrunchies. There's a lot of scrunchie tutorials on YouTube. But this one, you have your hair tie and you're going to single crochet around it. And you're going to do as many as it takes to fill it up. And when you stretch it, you don't see hairband or hair tie. So, and somewhere between 35 and 45 single crochets, depending on the size of your hair tie. And then you will go through and triple crochet, 3 triple crochets into each single crochet. And it gives you that nice fluffy ruffle, and it's tall enough. My double crochets are short and squatty. I have to use a triple, or it doesn't have any fluff to it. So I believe if you need a tutorial, I believe Passionate Kelsey Passionate Kelsey has a tutorial. And it's pretty quick. She explains it really well. But I believe Passionate Kelsey, yes, she has a tutorial like that. I've watched a few of her tutorials and she explains things really well. So I guess at some point this week, so that I'm not waiting to the last minute, I need to make the decision on what's going to go to the September market with me, if I get to still have it, weather holding up. So yeah, I need to decide what I'm going to take, get everything priced, and just go from there. Doing the pricing, even though it's the dreaded part, will give my hands a little bit of a break. They were hurting pretty good yesterday. I had to take some ibuprofen and once it kicked in, it was like, ugh. But I was feeling it like in my bones. just in my bones. The right hand was really bothering me. Anywho, it is time to get to work. So happy Wednesday, everybody. And we'll see you in the next video.